Hi folks, so in this video I asked a question, or two questions really, or maybe three, not too sure, let's see what happens. So, okay, if I go to the River Church or to the Community Church of Wick and I beg them to take away the ban, what do they say? They would both say no. They would. So therefore, if they would both say no, there comes a very, very simple question. And it is a very, very fair question. If in the future they realise the error of their ways, and they come to me and ask me to come to their church to share what God has been telling me, what God has been sharing with me, for the purpose of sharing with others, what should I say? I'm pretty sure my answer should be exactly the same as theirs, because it's called consequences. It's called fruit. It's called fruit. The point of it is, they expect different. They would expect me to say yes, and people listening here would expect me to say yes. But this is the point. When the Word of God says you'll be judged according to how you judge, it doesn't say they will be judged according to how I judge. Right? No. It says they will be judged how they judge, not how I judge anyone else. So the answer therefore will be now, no. They've had ample opportunity. I said the Community Church of Rick has had chance after chance after chance to go to God. I don't know what's happening with him, as far as I know. Is he still in the church? I don't know. The Thursday things, I haven't seen him there. Last Thursday he was walking back from the shop to the church as I passed him, so he was there last Thursday. But as I say, he's had enough days, enough minutes to go to Father to ask Father what it is he has to do, if anything. Has he done so? No. No, because he will not go to God. And as I say, the point of it is that church has intentionally picked people like that. Intentionally. Yeah. They have intentionally chosen to pick pastors like that. They've wanted pastors that would do the safe space church, that would preach lovely messages, that were encouraging, but that weren't ever challenging. That weren't anything that could change your life. Okay. In the end, that was their decision. Yeah. It most certainly was indeed. But that's the point. They will face the consequences of their decisions, that we all have to. Now, this isn't saying that a person from those churches couldn't come to where I am, because they could. But with the whole church, if a whole church came and said, oh, we are the church of, we are the River Church, or we are the Community Church of Rick, so therefore, can we come in? The answer would be, well, I'm sorry, did you as a church ban me? Yeah, if you as a church ban me, then obviously you cannot be in my presence, can you? That's the reality, isn't it, really? If them as a church ban me, then they cannot really be in my presence. So therefore, the church as a whole, no. Because Yeah, they've decided to do things as they have. They decided to say, well, your presence in our church, even in our coffee morning, will offend people, so therefore you're banned. Well, I say the reality is, God then says to you, well, this is the River Church. The other church allows me in their coffee morning one. For now. But not in their main service. But therefore, God will say to them, okay, what you have done offends me. Because you chose to look at what this person did, and you chose to be offended, and you chose to judge, and you chose to make that person pay according to your understanding of that, okay, you will therefore be judged by yourself. And your payment means that you are no longer under the covering of the blood of Yeshua. You are removed from that covering. Therefore, you cannot enter heaven because you stink of sin. Well, yeah. That is the reality, isn't it? That is what he will say to them. Well, because again, if they say to me, you're not welcome because you stink of, the sin that you committed against us, even though there was never any sin, it was just comments made that they didn't like, comments made that were truth and were of the word of God, like saying, Yeshua said that in the future they'd be worshipping the Father in the Spirit and truth, and yet you're making everything about the Son. Well, is that true? Yes. Yeah, that was the final straw for the River Church. Certainly for their main services, yeah. And their coffee morning, the final straw is that 3 women were sitting there, nattering, gossiping, as they do, talking about, what's that name, that singer? There's a singer, I've forgotten what his name is. Let's find out. Sam Smith, that's it, yeah. They were commenting about him and how he keeps changing his gender and keeps doing this and keeps doing that, keeps doing this and keeps doing that. And then, they were saying something about the way he dresses, And then one of the women said, oh, but the word of God is this and that and the other to me. The word of God says this and that and the other. Yeah, and I said, where does it say that? Because it didn't. It doesn't say that at all. She made the crap up while she was sitting there talking. And normally, nobody says a thing. Normally, when she's talking, people just say, oh, really? Oh, that's lovely, isn't it, eh? They disagree with her because that's what people do, isn't it? And that's why I say, when you agree with people like that, you are encouraging that person down a path that's going to lead them to hell. You are an encourager of that path because you know that what the person is saying is wrong, but you won't say anything because you care more about the friendship than you do about the person. What were you doing whacking against my chair? Excuse me, dipsy dosey dog. Anyway, so yeah, that's the point. That's exactly what people do. Why they do it, I don't know. I don't know. So but it is a case where people are. They care a damn sight more about the friendship. They care a damn sight more about how people see them and whether people like them more than where the person is going. I couldn't care less about whether people like me. I knew what the woman was saying was wrong, and I knew it was appropriate to point it out. And I knew it was probably appropriate just to point it out nice and quickly rather than mucking around. So in saying, okay, where in the Word of God does it say that? I mean, how is that something to be kicked out of a church for? Yeah, all their events for that. Well, of course it wasn't. But then when the assistant pastor, who now is the pastor, said to me, well, if you're willing to promise to try not to offend, you can remain at our events. And what does that mean? If you're willing to water down truth, if you're willing to do exactly what other people are doing, that when you hear someone lying about something that's in the Word of God, just don't say anything. Keep it to yourself. So when you see someone on a path where they're going to hell, don't say anything. Just keep it to yourself. Yeah. But that's not me. But therefore, yeah, when it comes down to it, if they ask me, will I come back? The answer is no. Because they've had chance after chance after chance to unban. They've had chance after chance after chance to do the right thing. As I say, I mean, even Mrs. B, if Mrs. B then says in the future, oh, shit, I was wrong. You know, I should have gone to God about it first. I didn't. Now I have. I've realised I was wrong about the way I did things. You know, can I correct it? I'm sorry, you've had since, you know, October 2021. It's now bloody March 2025. I think you've had enough time. I really don't think it's a case of saying to people, don't worry about it. You can basically say fuck you to someone for over 3 years, have that person banned from a church, but as soon as you say, oh, sorry, I got it wrong, you expect the person to just say, don't worry about it. It's not up to me to say, don't worry about it. It really, really isn't. Because if what you did got you cancelled or deleted from under the covering, then you've knackered yourself. So deal with that.